It was November 2020 that I had the dream. I woke up the very next morning and I made a premix and for breakfast. Wow. The kids loved it. And I remember giving them out as Christmas gifts that year, the next month, and received such a nice response. Then after the response I received at Christmas time, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Like, what do I have to lose?
Hello and welcome to the Daily Lawyer podcast. And today is yet another episode in our Daily Story series, where we feature business owners across the spectrum at various stages of their business to come and speak about their journeys, the lessons that they have learned in and through running their business, some struggles with legalities or some lessons that they have learned in probably something to do with their documentation, from the angle that others can learn from their mistakes. One, they can inspire others to do maybe what they have done, and also communicate to practitioners about the kind of support that they would need in running their business from legal practitioners. Because the Daily Lawyer aims at being this bridge between people and practitioners, and this getting business owners on the Daily Story series is one step towards this goal. And for today's series, I have a wonderful person. I really like her. Whenever I think of her, I always think of her with a smile. I'm speaking about Carolyn Pereira, the founder, the brain, and the chef, everything behind Treatfully Yours. She's also a voice-over artist. There's so much I want to talk to her, but first I want to welcome Carolyn. Carolyn, hi.
Hi, Jenna. Hi.
Welcome to the Daily Lawyer podcast.
So excited to be here.
I'm so happy. I meant it when I said that when I think of you, I always think of you with a smile, because you're always smiling. Every time I see you, like you have this nice big smile. And
so sweet.
You're also very cool. You do so many things. I don't know how you manage it. You are a voiceover artist, and you've lent your voice to radio spots, corporate films, audio visuals, television commercials, IVR phone messages. You've also voiced documentaries for National Geographic and Fox Life and Travel Channel. You are the founder of Treatfully Yours. I can attest to the goodness of the Treatfully Yours products, because I have consumed your pancake mixes and all of your
definitely have one of my favorite customers.
Thank you. So I know I don't, and you are a mom. You do a lot of sort of social work that way. You're very much involved in the community. You play basketball. You take care of your kids. I don't know how you do all of these things. I'm so interested in knowing more about you. So welcome.
Let's get it. Fire away.
Okay, so tell us something. I've told a lot, what I know
that
about
you. That was a lovely introduction, by the way. Makes me sound very good.
But you are very good. So it's easy. I don't have to do anything. But tell us about yourself. Your journey. How did you come out? Everything about you. Maybe not just Treatfully Yours, but also your journey as a voiceover artist. And maybe one thing that I did not mention is that you are an influencer also in your personal capacity on Instagram.
I don't like to
micro,
add that
nano. I don't know where.
I don't really like to add that to my bio, but it's just something that happened along the way. And yeah, it's been good. But no, I'm not an influencer in the true sense, as in I don't take on brand work and collaborations and stuff like that. It's just all for fun.
You just enjoy what you do.
Yeah, I just enjoy what I do.
Okay. Tell us about you, Carolyn. For somebody who doesn't know you at all, how are you going to talk? Just take us sort of through your journey so far.
So as you've already mentioned, I think you pretty much covered everything. I like to call myself a voiceover artist by profession, because that is what I've been for the last, I think, 8 years now, almost. That also happened, I would say, rather accidentally, because it was always something I was interested in. And, when the kids were a little older, I figured that now's the time I can do something about it. So I made a few inquiries, I did a workshop. And after I got my first job, there was no looking back. I never intended to make it a career, because at the time the kids were still young, and it was very difficult to actually get out and do work and all of that. But after getting that first job, the jobs just kind of kept coming in, and I kept saying yes. And one thing led to another, and now 7-8 years later, here we are. I'm doing good work, big work, and very grateful for that. So I'm a voiceover artist by profession. Treatfully happened 2.5 years ago, and I would literally say that is a dream come true, because the concept, the idea for it came to me in a dream, strangely enough. And I woke up the next morning and I was like, why not? What's the big deal? Why can't I premix, make these premixes? And I kind of tried it out. I remember it was the month of November in 2020.
And this was during the pandemic, is it?
It was just after things had just started opening up and stuff. It was November 2020 that I had the dream. I woke up the very next morning and I made a premix and for breakfast. Wow. And, we tried it out. The kids loved it. It was the chocolate chip. That was our very first flavor, the chocolate chip. And I remember giving them out as Christmas gifts that year, the next month.
How sweet.
And received such a nice response. I did the whole little packaging and, I made the little bag. And then after the response I received at Christmas time, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go for it. Like, what do I have to lose? So I launched in Jan of 21 with 2 flavors, the vanilla, the chocolate chip and the banana blueberry. We launched with 2 flavors, sell via DM, WhatsApp, all of that. And it was so nice to see the response that it got. People were actually liking it. And that's always something so nice, that the encouragement is always something that you need to know that you can do bigger, you can, do better. And I think that's exactly what happened with me, because from that little sell via DM and WhatsApp messages, word of mouth kind of business, today we are much, much bigger. We have like a range of 7 products. We're on Amazon, that's right. We are in retail stores.
And you must mention your hot chocolate as well.
That's your favorite, yes.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my kid's favorite. One thing about Treatfully Yours, which I don't know whether you said or I said, is that it's healthy premixes.
All healthy.
So no refined sugar,
nothing at all. I think that's the way to go today, because if you you can't be making a product that has maida and sugar in it, not in today's day and age. I think parents are very particular, maybe rightly so, given what they want to feed their children. And I think a healthy product is definitely the only way forward. You cannot possibly do anything with a maida sugar product in today's day and age.
Yeah. While there are too many maida sugar products, I think it's always nice. I know that I gravitate more towards either Treatfully Yours or similar products, because I don't feel guilty. I feel like, I'm at least feeding my kids.
And it tastes nice, it tastes nice enough that you don't miss the sugar, you don't miss
of course.
The maida or anything of that sort.
So now I have to bring you a little bit into the realm of legalities. I know you were like, I'm not very sure what to say.
I'm not.
So just say whatever it is that you have in your mind. But
correct.
When you think of a food related business, there are regulations, there are requirements, there are licenses, things like that.
Correct.
And for someone like you who actually just got this idea in a dream and woke up in action, which I think is extremely cool. It's very, we all have so many ideas.
It could be rather brazen as well, but it worked.
No, but you did it. I think it's execution is more important than having ideas. And I know it. Like, I've been having the idea of the Daily Lawyer since 2017. I actioned it in 22. It took me 5 years.
Right.
So I really appreciate when somebody says, I saw it in the dream and next day morning I took action. But when you started like that, so that was not like a thought out, you didn't have a business plan and all that.
Not at all, my goodness.
It's like you're literally in the flow.
Yes.
In a situation like this, how did you think of, or what, first of all, how did you deal with these, regulations or licenses and so on? And today, how do you think of it?
So the first thing I did was apply for an FSSAI license. That came through pretty fast.
And you did it online, is it? Or
I did it online. Like I said, at the time, now we're talking about 2.5 years ago. So at the time, it was just like, Google FSSAI, fill in the thing and download, pay a small sum of money and, download the license. That was a basic license.
Yeah,
at
good.
the
I'm
time.
so happy that you just did. Like, I'm impressed at the speed of your execution.
Yeah. So that happened. That was the only document I had for the first maybe 6 to 8 months. By which time I realized that this was definitely growing into something bigger and better, and I would not be able to only manage with this basic license. After that, I needed to apply for a GST, which was another process altogether. So we got our GST registration as a registered company and all of that.
So did you get mandatory? Did you get your CA to help you, or then you just...
No. By that time, I had a CA who helped me with the whole GST thing, because when I come from a very creative, artistic background, and my comfort with numbers is a big fat C. Anything to do with, money and just even basic 2 plus 2 is something that honestly gives me palpitations, even today. So the first thing I did was reach out to a CA, and they took care of the whole process. So that was another big compliance for us that we had to make sure that we had. Because that just opened the doors for a lot more bigger things. Course. Like everything, Amazon, retail, you require a GST number.
Yeah.
So we did all of that. And in fact, just I would say about 3 months ago, I had to apply for a new FSSAI license because the basic one was not cutting it anymore. With the kind of expansion and work that we were doing. So I applied for a manufacturer's license.
That's lovely.
So now we are legit.
Now you're legit. You were always legit.
We were always legit, but now we are proper.
Now you're proper legit. Proper legit. Wonderful. And Carolyn, I always when you're selling through online channels, especially like how you started, right? Selling on DMs. What did you think of, or did you have situations where you were asked for refund and you sent it, or you did a cash on delivery order for some, and then nobody picked it up, and then you had to pick up the tab, or somebody
it happens.
Things like that. How did you manage with things like with these kind of situations? Did you have terms and conditions, or do you think now it's important that you have some terms that I will not refund once, or you have to pay me in advance, or things like that?
So to my, I would say, good luck, there was, out of all the sales that we've currently done on Amazon, we've been on Amazon since March of this year. We just had one person return the product, and Amazon kind of takes care of that for me.
Yeah. So that's lovely.
They refund their money and all of that. But when it comes to me personally, like if you order on my website, it's basically me who's packing your order and processing it and sending it out. Again, to my good luck, we've not had any returns. I don't offer cash on delivery. I think as a small business, it's just probably better to not have that option for this current moment, because it just doesn't make sense for a business which is not as maybe large. But what happens with us is our WeFast charge. We have a lot of clients who just directly message, because a large part of the business is a word of mouth thing, because we do a lot of return gifts, we do a lot of party orders, we do a lot of pop-ups. So that's where people pick up the product and they don't know that it's on Amazon, or they don't know the website, but it's all word of mouth. So they'll send me a message and say, hi, this is what we want. In which case I do a WeFast. And, we're based in Bandra, and sometimes when you send it to town, South Bombay, the WeFast is almost over $200.
Yeah.
That's not something everybody wants to pay. So for me, that's a decision I need to take, whether I insist on a fee of $200 or $250, which
is almost as much as one packet.
It's the price of a packet. So there's a part of me that feels silly. I don't know if that's the word, but I feel weird to say, you pay for a packet as a delivery charge. So what I tend to do, if it is a large amount, I just put it at a flat rate of, $100. And then I take the hit for the balance. There are some people who are kind enough to, just kind of pay the fee because they know that it is what it is. But yeah, so that's, I think, one area where we struggle. Also, of course, there have been a few complaints where the package has reached damaged and, the pancakes inside the powder was all out. Probably in transit, it was a bad delivery or a courier.
Yeah.
That happens. It will always happen to everybody. So yeah, in those cases, I just send them a replacement product free of charge. So basically, it's important to always know that, you need to put aside that much of money every month for these kind of things. If, damaged products that you have to replace. Sometimes we do a lot of, we give away free products. Like currently I'm doing a little, a little contest on Instagram. So the winner gets a hamper. So again, that is a free of charge thing. So, you need to set aside an X amount of money every month, knowing that there's going to be a few freebies that are definitely going to go out. Sometimes I like to put in a extra packet of something if one of my regulars is ordering.
Yeah, you gave me your vanilla butterscotch free.
I did,
in fact, that was the last packet I opened last week when my sister had come down. That is the last. Now I'm out of Treatfully Yours product. I had enough so far, but now I'm out of it. But
so it's important to keep that little buffer every month.
Yeah, I think that's good advice, especially for smaller businesses and product-based businesses.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because I think we're not so big that we can afford to be, pricey about certain things.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, at least for me, I know that I want the business. I would rather gain a new customer and, take a hit of $100 on my own, because I know that customer will come back. And,
true.
So that for me is very important.
Yeah, true. And tell me, when it comes to your voiceover gigs, I mean, these are not questions I asked you, but then, it's coming up in the conversation. So, when it comes to your voiceover jobs, do you have any, have you faced any situation where you felt, oh my God, I wish I had set out my terms clearly? Or do you have an email or something like that where you say, okay, I have to be paid on such and such time, I will deliver ABCD, I will,
so
things like that.
In the field of voicing, things have to be put down very clearly. Now, when I first started out, most of our work went through email. But I think over the course of time, WhatsApp became an official means of communication. I correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that it's now permissible officially.
Yeah.
So what people do is they just share scripts. We send quotes and stuff all over WhatsApp versus an email, which is what used to happen prior. So I think that definitely leaves more space for
problems.
What's the word? Problems, misunderstanding,
miscommunication.
Miscommunication is the word, correct? Miscommunication. But yes, you have to. So basically, in the voiceover industry, we charge as per a duration of film. So is it a 30-second film? Is it a 60-second film? What happens and where the reason we do well is because we get paid royalties. And this is also where there is a lot of misunderstanding and miscommunication, because we record once for, say, television. But then the same ad runs on digital. It runs in theaters. If you're blessed to have a client who tells you up front that, there are going to be a few edits, a few cut downs, so then we need to charge them our master rate multiplied by the number of cut downs and, places of use it's going to. A lot of people don't like to pay for that. So I think in the voiceover industry, that is probably the biggest problem that we face, especially when dealing with smaller agencies. The bigger agencies and production houses are always very clear and, there's absolutely no trouble with them. But it does happen. And also payments, you have to forget about the job that you've done at least for a few months, and then you got to say, hi. That happens a lot. In spite of maybe saying that, you give them a week, you see nothing. You give them another week, you see nothing. I'm probably not the best person, and I know there are a lot of people who do this via email and make things very, very clear. Sadly, I'm not one of those. But I need to probably.
Maybe, yeah. I want to sort of break down because there were a lot of interesting things that you said.
Yeah.
And I don't know much about the voiceover industry, but then from what I heard, I think it'll be very useful if we can break it down a little bit for those who are possibly interested in getting into this,
Sure.
or are in allied fields which have
Correct.
a similar sort of working style. So you said a few things. You said that you get royalties, which means that there's some amount of IP that you own over the voiceover, which is an important aspect, and that has to be sort of given in writing in some shape or form. So that's one part I want to get into. Another part, you spoke about agencies, small agencies, big agencies, and how. So I'm not very clear about, are you hired by an agency? Are you contracted to multiple agencies who sort of pick up the phone and call you and say, hey, I have a client, and sort of match you with the client? Is that what happens when it comes to agencies?
Precisely, because voiceover artists are freelancers. So we just get a call from an agency saying send across samples, which we do. The samples are then sent to the client. So say, for example, you're doing a film for Asian Beats. The agency or production house will send samples of maybe 3 or 4 voice artists. And then Asian Paints kind of selects which voice they feel they like the best for their film. And then they get in touch with us. The client generally has nothing much to do with it. It's always the agency or the production house. And then we go ahead and record.
So the client, you and the client typically don't meet?
Always. Sometimes they do attend recordings, yes. I won't say never. But more often than not,
but typically
it's the production house that kind of manages
everything. So when it comes to royalties, what you said, and that's something that's very interesting to us because it's very much within the domain of law.
Absolutely.
How is that something that you can negotiate, or is that something that you ask upfront and say that, hey, anywhere that my voice, my clip is played, I will get X% and that percentage is fixed? Or is that something that changes on a project to project basis, or is that something that your agency negotiates on your behalf?
So it's a fixed rate. Generally, any voiceover artist worth his or her salt will have a particular rate for this. Generally, say it's about 50%
50.
of your 50. Yeah.
50%
of your master film rate.
Okay.
So there's one master film, and then there are baby films that kind of go everywhere else. So that's an unwritten rule, I would say. That, and it's pretty much what it is and what they owe you. So then you bill accordingly.
And have you ever asked or thought of, or in your communication with agencies or brands or whatever, asking for credit, in an Instagram, let's say it's on Instagram or it's on YouTube or wherever else it is. Do you have a credit that comes voice by so-and-so or something like that?
This was always a very big discussion in the voiceover industry because we very rarely get tagged in a film. Very, very rare. It's just, the illustrators and the people who made the film.
But why is it like
that? Mention. I'm not sure, to be honest. But now in the age of Instagram and, having social media handles, it happens now if a film is posted to Instagram. Like currently I did a film for Meta, for Instagram itself. And it was obviously, the master film was for Instagram. It was in a reel format. So I got tagged there, voiceover by, Carolyn Pereira. But when a film goes on YouTube, there's no mention of us at all. And obviously in television commercials, there's no mention of anybody.
Yes. I mean, you can't, but, there's no,
But when I did the documentary for National Geographic, since it was, it was a 1 hour long film. So at the end, there were a whole list of credits, like a proper movie kind of style. And the voiceover by Carolyn Pereira was mentioned.
But you don't ask
But
for it, like
no, we
in
don't.
your communication with your agency. Why
Not
is it
at
that
all.
you don't ask for it?
Not at all.
Like,
It's just not
shouldn't
a
you
thing.
ask for it? That's what I was thinking. Like, shouldn't you say that, hey, if it goes on Instagram, then shouldn't that form part of your sort of, these are the terms that I work on, something like
That's a
that?
good question, but no, I don't think it's part of our terms anywhere.
But can it be? No, for someone, let's say, who's listening and wants to maybe get into this field or an allied field, is that something that potentially they can? Because to my mind, it seems logical. Like if I were maybe in your place, I would probably put it down in my terms. Like, these are the terms I work under, and then put 1, 2, 3. I need to be
I think
paid.
if that was part of my terms, people would just laugh.
Oh, is it?
Because it's not a thing. Asking for your name to be mentioned in any sort of final film, I've never even thought about it, to be honest.
And do you have any, any permissions? Why I'm asking you all these questions is that, there are more and more everything is getting more and more regulated today, especially in our country, which is a good thing. Everything's getting more and more regulated. There's a data privacy bill that's coming. There's a privacy act that will come soon. And you can't use something, you have to use, especially on the digital space, if you have said that I'm going to use something, whatever you have put out for a particular purpose, you can only use it for that purpose. If you want to take it and use it for some other purpose, you need specific permission. So for instance, if Meta, in the example that you gave, if Meta is they have tagged you and you've given your voice to Meta, and let's assume that you're not tagged, do you really have permission to speak about that piece of work as your work on your page?
We can speak about the work once it's released. So
And
very often,
that
like,
is something that you get in written, is it in writing, or is it like
it's a given.
It's a
like
given.
It's out now, so what's there to hide, and the more you share the film, the better for the brand, right? But until the film is out, it's best to not.
Of course, yeah.
Like in a lot of cases, companies require us to sign NDAs. Certain very big agencies or bigger brands, we have to sign NDAs, but it doesn't happen always. Most of the time, it doesn't. But it's just on a human nature. You're not going to blurt something out that you shouldn't be saying yet. So like the other day, I don't know if you saw that, but I just put a story and said, I'm doing this brand, a diamond brand or something like that. But I never actually mentioned Carrot Lane because the film was not obviously released yet.
True. Yeah.
So after it was, then I posted the ad and said Carrot Lane.
Yeah.
But generally, I would not. I don't know if others do, but I would not let the cat out of the bag until the final film is out.
Yeah. So from what I hear, there's not so much in terms of documentation or in terms of exchange. Of course, it's a bit informal in terms of exchange on WhatsApp.
Informal,
but
is the word.
Yeah.
And that is wrong. I'm even saying that here. It should be on email.
Yeah,
all
because
of your
I think
terms ideally should be put down on email. So I had one bad experience, just one, wherein I didn't get paid what I was supposed to get paid, and that was just my foolishness.
Yeah.
Because there was no way to go back to it in writing and stuff like that. Because this was some time ago, so there was not much communication. It was all like a phone call, something like that. But it's very important to put it down on. Most importantly, your payment terms, because I think that's the only thing where we might have an issue as a voice artist. There's nothing else really that we can, have any claim to.
Yeah.
But except for that,
I want to go back now to to your Treatfully Yours business.
Sure.
And, I know you said that your CA helped you get the GST and all in place. But did you or have you thought of things like trademarks, or did you have any applied for a trademark, or did you have any? What are your thoughts around those kind of things?
I have no thoughts. I'm not even thinking about things like trademark and all of it as of now, because in my head, and like I said, I don't really have much of a business background. I've not studied business or finance or anything. But so to me, a trademark is like, oh yeah, it's something. Do I need it? I'm not sure. If somebody should ask me tomorrow for it, then I'll, kind of start looking it up and figuring out whether I need it or I don't.
Yeah.
So that's a very honest answer for you. I haven't even thought about these things.
Yeah, but I think you must think about it, because what trademark does is it just protects. It's nothing but protection. And it protects you because it's your business and, your sweat and blood, and you don't even need to have an established business to apply for a trademark. And you're using the mark, it's all over social media, and it's very simple to do, honestly. It's not.
Does this go through a lawyer?
Yeah, you can go. In fact, your CA, if your CA is the person that I am thinking about, and if it's somebody that we both know, then your CA will be able to do it very ably. And it's not very expensive. So you should ask.
Great. Because I think Amazon asked me recently if I had a trademark that would improve my store or something like that. They would do something better with advertising if I had a trademark. And I was like, okay, let me look into it. But then I forgot.
If you just apply, under the correct classes, then your application is put through, you can use the words TM against Treatfully yours.
Correct.
And once your trademark is granted, then you use registered. So that sort of gives you that protection. Yeah. So nobody can take the name, like nobody can take it and then, pass it off as theirs, which is something that you want. You want to ring fence your whatever you built, right? Because you're working so hard at it. Why would you want somebody else to take it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the best part is the recognition. Like yesterday, there was an ad that we put in a brochure in a magazine, and somebody saw it and they were like, and I mentioned, I said, oh, I have my ad in here. And they were like, oh, which one? Oh, Treatfully yours is yours? Which meant that they didn't know it was mine, but it meant that they had seen it and they knew of it. And I was like, yes.
Yes, see.
So that was
then all the more reason why you need to apply for a trademark. So. And this was one mini unplanned mini lesson on why any small business owner must apply for a trademark.
Correct.
Before, maybe
definitely on my list.
Yeah. Yes, you can ask the CA. She's very competent and she'll be able to help you. Okay, tell me, have you had any problem? What would you say has been your biggest challenge getting help from these kind of quarters, legal, financial, maybe?
I haven't really had any challenge. I wouldn't say that it's been challenging, because my CA kind of honestly babies me through the whole process of whatever she needs to do. As far as legally is concerned, touch wood, I have had no issues, no questions so far. So I would not really be able to give you a proper answer for this, because I've not really faced any challenges in that respect yet.
That's a good enough answer, I think. And it's good if you've not...
but it's so important to have all of these things, because the other day... we had this really big meeting for something very, very, very promising coming up hopefully soon. And they said to me, once legal clears your paperwork, we'll be in touch.
Yeah.
And that instant, you feel like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I hope everything's in order.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, but that's why it's so important to have all of these documents, especially when you're at the growing stage, when you're getting bigger. It's very, very important to have your documentation firmly down correctly.
Yeah. True. So, and also an understanding of what you're signing.
Yes.
And, in my experience, what happens is, especially between a small business and a larger business, the small business is so excited at the prospect of the business growth that the larger business is going to bring.
Absolutely.
That you're willing to actually sign off a lot of things because you just want to get your foot in the door. And I would caution every small business. I would not say, I'm not cautioning you against it. I'm saying that you read the paperwork twice, thrice, think about it. Be mindful of what you're going to sign. Don't give away, everything.
No, what you said is very true, because it's me who wants the business. So we're willing to sign off a lot of things. But read the document twice or thrice.
Yeah. Especially your IP, payment terms and all, you will naturally read. Like that is something that we will immediately do. But we don't really pay attention to, supposing they ask you to co-brand something. or
Yeah.
they want you to white label something, co-brand something.
Yes.
They want you to come up with, like you say, Christmas,
Correct.
I don't know, favor. All of those places is where you need to make sure that your business is also fenced, and you get,
Correct.
you don't give away all of your IP and all of your. It's more like a vendor client sort of relationship, more than any other relationship. So that's probably, I don't know why I feel like this one gyan I'm giving you, like unsolicited gyan.
I'm loving it.
Yes, so but yeah, anyway, okay, so this closes out the legal part of the podcast. The second half of the podcast, I do it for myself because I love listening to the answers. It's called 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So ask you 5 of something, 4 of something, 3 of something, like that. Okay, so 5 productivity tips that you have.
I love my to-do list. I cannot do without my to-do list, and I think that it really enhances my productivity when I tick things off. And at the end of the day, I love to see them all ticked off.
How sweet.
So, and I know that something is pending. If it's not been ticked off, that I'll get to the next day. So I put pen to paper. It's not a list on my phone or anything. It's pen to paper, and I just tick as I go. So that for me is definitely one of the reasons I'm able to stay productive and have everything on hand, that I need. Secondly, a routine is very important. For me, I work from home currently, so I have very flexible hours, which is a good thing and a bad thing. So I try to keep it as fixed as possible. So for example, I only work in the mornings. I wouldn't say only, but most days I work like half the day, and the second half of the day is for the other million things that you have to do as a mother, and just for the house and stuff like that. So just that routine is also incredibly important. Managing your time, so important. Again, it's so easy to procrastinate, when you're working from home. Just say, I'm just going to finish watching that episode that I, was half last night. But, don't do that, at least not every day. But don't procrastinate. I think these are things that have led to a higher level of productivity for me. Because let's be honest, it's not very hectic work every day. Like the days that we're manufacturing the actual product is an absolute nightmare from morning to night. And it's a lot of hard work, a lot of, being on your feet. So any day that we're actually...
home? Or do you have a production facility?
Yes.
Oh, that's
as
fabulous.
of now, no, but we need to get a production facility now because our numbers monthly have shot through the roof, becoming very difficult in our management. So it's a great thing. So looking to expand, maybe we'll get a bit of a place very soon. I hope we're looking out. So so on those days, it's always very, very hectic. But on other days, it's a lot. A food business is not only about tasty food, paperwork and phone calls and emails and all of that stuff that just needs to be done. So that's what I tackle on most days. And I think just having that list is definitely better for productivity, greater productivity.
I think a lot of people who have come on the podcast, whenever I ask this question, give me productivity tips, they'll always say, have a to-do list. I don't particularly have a to-do list every time. I think I should switch.
Like I'll show you my to-do list. It's like, it's there every single day. It's ticked off, but it gives you such a sense of...
how nice. I can't see.
Yeah, I know it's right. But it's there, it's all ticked off. But I think that is just, for me, it works like
that sense of accomplishment that you get when you just tick it off.
Yeah, and you see that it's done, you know that it's done. So when you go back a few pages, you're like, okay, I have this. So it's really important for like us to have enough labels and stickers and boxes and even dumb stuff like masking tape and sticker labels, all of it. So when you're running down on stock. So I know that I've ticked it off my list somewhere, so it must be here somewhere. So I know that I have what I need.
Okay.
Inventory, management, things like that.
It's very hard to do what you do. You're doing like 3 people's job, Carolyn, one person, because you're making the product, you're advertising the product, you're doing your business relations or client relationships, you're doing the back end, you're doing the front end, you're doing everything. So it's really admirable what you're doing. So keep it up. I hope you get help, and as
But
you
you know
grow.
what? There is time for everything, is what I'm trying to say.
True.
There is time for everything. It may sound like a lot sometimes, even when I hear it, when you said it back just now, I thought, my God, how am I doing that? But you know what? I get asked this question a lot. How are you managing? It's all right. Because I'm not doing all 5 things on one day. Like today I'm doing one thing, tomorrow I'm doing another, day after I'm doing something else. So, where there's a will, there's a way.
Yeah. And I think this is the secret of being a productive person. Like, you have time for everything because you've planned everything. You slot
planning, that's what I'm saying. Planning and time management is super important. People ask me, how are you able to do all of this Instagram funny stuff that you do? I do it on a day that I don't really have much work. Like when I'm done by 10:30 in the mornings with my emails or whatever, stuff has to be done. I'm kind of free that day then,
Yeah.
So I have the time, let's do something.
That's fair.
I'll never do it on a day that I have work. You'll never find me on the gram on a day that I've been working or I've had a lot to do. I'll never be there. You'll find me there on the days when I'm Vela.
I think it's impressive that you at least have days when you're Vela.
Yeah. It is really a blessing. Just being your own boss definitely adds to that. If I want the day off, I'll take the day off. Unless there's something absolutely pressing.
Yeah.
So,
I think after
it's not hampering productivity in any way. So why not?
Yeah. And I think it's healthier to take some time off.
Yes.
Than not do it. Okay, 4 books that you would recommend.
I'm not much of a reader.
So you recommend 4 shows or 4, whatever.
No, but there was this book that I read in the pandemic. I actually did this little workshop of sorts. It was called The Magic, the book by Rhonda Byrne.
Yeah, Rhonda Byrne.
So a friend of mine, a school friend of mine, was having this magic workshop. So every day we had to read one chapter and she would send us a list of something. I thought that was such a beautiful experience.
Yeah.
Especially at a time like that, during the lockdown and the pandemic. So I think that was the last book that I maybe probably read. But otherwise I just pick up like maybe, Sophie Kinsella or Colleen Hoover. Kind of just stories, light and fun. Even in my choice of TV shows, it's always something fun to watch at the end of the day. Although I love to watch drama, thrillers where they're like running with guns and all. I love that kind of stuff to watch show-wise. But always is just to kind of relax at the end of the day and not put too much thought into what I'm reading or what I'm watching.
Yeah. Okay. 3 things that you will tell a young graduate or a young student or,
Firstly, don't put your dream down, or not, if not a dream, if it's something that you want or have wanted to achieve, a goal that you have, never say, oh, but I can't do that, because who's saying that you can't do that?
Yeah,
of course you can, you just need to believe in yourself. So that I think is the first step for any young person, to know that things are attainable, things are achievable. You have to just really focus and, do your research and figure out how you're going to do it. Ask for help.
Yeah.
And I think that in today's day and age, there are lots of lovely people who are more than willing to help you. I know that is the reason why I have also reached a certain place in life, because people have been there to help me and to guide me. Because again, I'm saying I don't really have much of experience, business-wise and in so many other areas, but people have always been so willing to help when you want to start something that they can see the passion for.
Yeah.
So to anybody there, a young person, somebody just starting out, ask for help, believe that you can do it, and really focus and, get things done, because you can.
Okay. Lovely. And 2 life lessons that you have learned in your life so far.
I don't know. Life lessons. I think if you just take everything with a pinch of salt. I'm talking about business-wise. While there are so many people there, to help you, there are the same number of people there, waiting to bring you down. So, I would say never take criticism from somebody you wouldn't go to for advice.
Yeah, true. So that's
one of the biggest life lessons that I have, that I think I have learned the hard way.
Yeah. And what's the other one? So one is never take criticism from someone you would not go to for advice.
Things take time, definitely. Nothing happens overnight.
Yeah, true.
You need to give yourself a good 6 months. Even as a voiceover artist, like just yesterday, I was on a call with someone wanting to be a voice artist. And I always tell the truth. I said, don't expect to be big for at least a couple of years. You have to do the small jobs, the little lesser paying jobs that don't give you much recognition or mileage. You have to do that to get to, advertising and the bigger digital films. So good things definitely take time. Learn from your mistakes. We're always making mistakes. I know that I am. Don't look at it as, a big cross or whatever. If you didn't get a particular job or you didn't bag a particular client, that's okay. Just learn from your mistakes. Like I tend to not give the correct information when people approach me to, ask for bulk orders and stuff like that. I tend to get very confused. So what I do now is I think about it and then I reply. Earlier, I would never, because out of excitement, I would just go like, tuck, 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 tuck. I would reply or tell them. But now I think it over and then I kind of reply. So that's what I have learned. That was a big mistake that I was making a few years ago. But I've learned from that. And so it's gotten a lot better now.
Yeah, that's nice. And final, last question is the one piece of advice, the best piece of advice that you have received.
People give so much advice. I don't know what is the best one, but I think at the end of the day, we're all monkeys with a plan. So, don't take yourself too seriously. Just be yourself, even if it comes to your business. And this is something that, yes, I've received a bit of criticism for, because my business page, on social media might not be as professional as somebody else's, but I tend to put my personality into what I do. So like I always say that I'm a monkey with a plan, but it works. So I think don't take yourself too seriously. Whatever you're doing, just have fun. As long as you keep your focus, your eye on the prize. I don't see where you can go wrong or how you can go wrong. You have to learn to have fun on the whole journey.
It's hard to do. I don't know how you do it. Like, I don't think I would have the courage to play a ukulele and just chill.
Play a ukulele badly. But I do it because look. I mean, nobody's perfect, no.
Yeah, I know.
I may be great as a voiceover artist. I may be really good, but do I play the ukulele well? I don't. But does that deter me from putting it out there for you to see?
It doesn't, and I think it's fabulous that it doesn't deter you, because it would have deterred me. Honestly, I don't put anything over my personal life.
Being on Instagram has really taught me that people are not looking for perfection. Not in you as a person, not in you with your business. Nobody's looking for perfection. Absolutely. People are looking for the real you. It's like every business has a story. They are more interested in what your story is and not only what your product is.
Yeah.
That is very, very important. And I think that is something that has worked for Treatfully yours, because I'm constantly highlighting our story along with our products and our job. I think people tend to like that and find it very easy.
They do. Thank you so much, Carolyn. I really had a nice time chatting with you.
I hope so. I did
sitting across in coffee and just chilling and chatting.
Yes.
Thank you so much.